Hello. Um, 309 class. My name is Rigo Martinez, and I did a study on, of course, narco corridos and corridos from Mexico. Um, so if you gotta forgive me for this whole thing, I'm not really used to giving a presentation on this kind of format. But and also about putting the presentation in the back. I don't know how to do that either, but it would have been nice to have like a projector or something. Anyway, I digress. So I was doing a case study on popular music from Mexico, which is like music from Vicente Fernandez or Jorge Negrete. It's music that's really influenced my life in a way, culturally speaking, because these are, icons of our time. These are people that have sung corridos and rancheros that are about, wooing and, you know, the themes of I didn't really know about the themes about um the narco corridos. I didn't know that existed before until I heard some of the other tracks. Um but the thing about music is the music has the grito. It's very popular in the corridos and the ballads that are in Mexican culture. So I just I wrote about that, and I learned so much about music that I didn't understand before until I took this class, which is, I didn't really know about the blues. I didn't know that norteños were actually Native American. I thought those were Mexican. I thought that was Mexican music as well. So that was very interesting for me to learn while while the whole while taking this whole entire course. So yeah, it was very interesting to find that out, and also the just everything in general. So another person that's really popular in Mexican music is Alejandro Fernandez. He also sings about the corridos. He sings about the problems that people have as a culture as they deal with their oppressors or the system of oppression that's built. There's also a system of oppression that's built, and it's clearly seen in American music as well. When you hear the blues, it talks about the oppression that people face in urban societies, and it's something that I would like to emphasize more on. I wish I would have done the report more on that because it correlates with my major, which is sociology. But yeah, I ended up talking about the corridos and how most of the corridos originated from the history when it comes to the history of the Treaty of Hidalgo. I touched on that a little bit, but I didn't touch too much on it. But it's songs that emphasize how the war started. There's a Tex-Mex song that started in San Antonio. I forgot what the song is called right now. I had to look that up. Um, it was from Ruben. What's the name? I'm sorry, I don't have the notes out. Um, but yeah, so the music it talks about the killing of American soldiers in Mexican land, and that's what provoked the Anglo-American War against Mexico and the conquest of Mexico begun in Texas in San Antonio. So that's like an interesting fact I wanted to point out. I just can't find the artist right now. I'm so sorry about that. Um, but yeah, but the corridos are they give stories of a time that we had back in the day where we had to face oppression again. We're going back to oppression. We had to face some kind of oppression, and even today, like music is heavily influenced by the oppression that we're facing today or seeing in society today when it comes to minorities and the majority. um, there's many systems and many avenues of that oppression that are active today, especially seen on TV. It's, as I brought it up before, in my notes to class, there are many avenues to the oppression, and what it teaches is for society to accept this oppression and be okay with the racism that's going on today. I'm not okay with it. Clearly, I'm not okay with it. It's something that I I fight against actively and try to serve representation for my people along with minorities that are in the same group or category of being under the majority. So yeah, it's the whole thing about music, I kind of drifted off. I really underprepared for this clearly, because I'm like I said, I'm not really used to giving a presentation in this format, which I think I'm recording it. Yeah, so I'm recording this, and yeah. So what the music taught me is that it brings out what people are feeling at at a time of crisis or in a time of love or a time of peace. Music has many languages, but the one thing that everybody can agree to is that it makes you feel something, that it makes you feel this powerful force within that it's pretty much who you are. It's how we create our identity as a culture. You know, it's how norteños have their identity, or how the corridos and how the Mexicans identify with the music of corridos, how people that create ballads, or Anglo Americans that create ballads, or African Americans that make ballads, or the French who made Zydeco music, who popularized upbeat sounds in Louisiana. There's just so many influences that I didn't really know. I didn't even know that Zydeco was French or a type of music. So that was really interesting to learn about. But yeah, this class has been really wonderful, and I want to thank the professor so much for having all the Kahoot sessions and having close discussions with all of us, and for being very understanding of everything. And through the circumstances that we're all faced against, not attending school in person, it's just different, but we have to adjust to these certain situations and rise above it. And I also want to mention that there's a lot going on with Israel, Palestine, and I really feel for what's going on, but I really don't know if anybody should have any say in that, and especially the government of ours, the American government, having involvement by funding billions of dollars to Israelis. There's a lot wrong here. There's obviously an apartheid going on, and it's being heavily ignored. And I just feel strongly about that too. And I feel like we need to voice more change in our own society, because it's bringing out a lot of bigotry once again. A lot of people are having mixed emotions and feelings about what's going on, and it's a very confusing time. But the one thing that we have to remind ourselves is that we are all important. We all have a voice. We all have a say in this. We have to speak up to our friends and our family members, or anybody who has the wrong type of language to these certain situations, like anybody who says anything bad about this. But anyways, I think that's my time. I'm not, I didn't really put a timer, but I want to thank you so much, and thank you, professor, for the Kahoot, for the lessons, for teaching us about American music overall. And I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry that I'm a mess. This is very late. But yeah, work was very terrible. And thank you. Thank you.